Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me here again on MV Rugby. And yeah, round 2 of the autumn series has just concluded. South Africa traveling all the way to France, Stade de France again. Sort of a deja vu to the 2023 World Cup there, quarterfinals, to face off against the hosts, France. Yet again, in a meeting that a lot of people has hailed as the grudge match from 2023. Now, as we can remember, upon the suffering the loss to the Springboks at the 2023 World Cup, the French went on a bit of a bitching and moaning spree, especially directed at from Antoine Dupont. More notably, I don't think that anybody else was as vocal as he was towards the ref at that stage, but in general I think the French kind of felt that they were robbed from the hopeful victory of the World Cup in front of their home crowd, and yeah, so this weekend just came down to once again, once and for all, basically proving who is the better team here. And was 2023 actually stolen? Well, I think the result was very conclusive. 32-17. Springboks once again proving that they are the better team between the two. Conspicuous by his absence, Antoine Dupont not with the French team this time around. But yeah, it was also not without its controversies as well. Lood de Jager getting a red card within the 13th minute or so of the game, and it was very much controversial in the sense that I do not agree with the conclusion. Permanent red card issued to Lood de Jager. No, sorry, it was right at the end of the first half, with on the 40th minute. Yes, that. In a quite a active attack by the French, the ball was offloaded to Thomas Ramos in a valiant effort by the French to try and mount a counter-attack on the Springboks at that time, and Cobus Reinach comes around from the side, tackling Ramos, taking him down, and by the time Lood de Jager actually came and engaged in the tackle, Ramos was on his knees. So at the time when Cobus Reinach actually executed the tackle, Ramos was pretty much upright, trying to fight to stay upright, trying to also break away from the hold that Cobus Reinach had on him. By the time that Lood de Jager engaged in his tackle as well, unfortunately, Ramos couldn't hold his balance, went down on his knees by the time that Lood de Jager connected with him. And it seemed like Lood de Jager led with the shoulder in this tackle. There is hints, if you do slow it down, take it frame by frame, you can actually see that there is hints of him trying to wrap the arms, especially the right arm. The left arm, unfortunately, staying back, still leading with the shoulder in on that side, and that was unfortunately the shoulder that connects with Ramos's head. So after quite a few minutes of deliberation, the ref returned with a permanent red card verdict. Now again, I'm not quite sure that was the right call. I do not agree with it at all, and I will tell you why. Number one, ample enough mitigating circumstances to reduce the red card to yellow card, in my opinion. It was not just one person committing into the tackle. There was two defenders, and obviously Ramos has changed height due to the first tackle. So that in itself is very much a mitigating circumstance. Yes, leading with the shoulder is very much illegal, but again, had Thomas Ramos been able to remain upright, Lood would have caught him basically on the midriff, and it would not result in a dangerous tackle at all. So definitely, you've got to take that kind of into consideration when considering the the punishment, if I can call it that. And I don't feel that Angus Gardner really, although listening to the the deliberation between the refs, it did sound like Angus Gardner tried to found any kind of excuse not to award the red card. He did suggest that it met the yellow card threshold. That wholly I would agree with. I do not agree with the upgrade to the red card. He did continue deliberating with the 2 touch judges, and of course in deliberation also with the TMO, asked eventually for a real-time replay of the tackle just to kind of judge the impact. And there was quite a bit of force behind the impact. Of course, Lood is coming in at quite a speed, and Ramos is stationary this entire time. So yeah, there is kind of the connection with the head, but it's not the full force on the shoulder. If you look frame by frame, you can actually say that the sort of not the forearm, but the top arm just below the shoulder is the actual area that does struck the head. So that kind of is mitigation number 2, in my opinion. So yeah, it is a dangerous tackle to lead with the shoulder, but I also have to admit that there is enough mitigation to reduce the conclusion that it would only qualify for a yellow card threshold, not the red card threshold. But unfortunately, it wasn't even a red card call or yellow card called in referral to the bunker. With a referral to the bunker, it was just straight down, permanent red card. Lood, you're off, unfortunately. And what did strike me though about this whole controversial incident is that Siya Kolisi did question the fact that Ramos kept playing after the incident happened. Why didn't he go off with an HIA? If the impact force was so severe and so dangerous that it led to a permanent red card, why is the player still on the field? Very valid question. I'd like to know the same thing. Unfortunately, we will never know. As they left, however, going for the halftime pep talks in the cloakroom, Siya Kolisi once again extended the same question to Angus Gardner. Angus Gardner did say that, okay, he will go for an HIA. We will hear what's happening after that. And apparently, if he did go for the HIA, he must have passed it, because Ramos was back on the field directly after halftime. So was it really that high level of a risk or danger in that tackle? Was there as much force as the referees would have us believe? I don't know. I'm not convinced. And now Lood has obviously got to take a hike for 4 games. I don't even know how much he's been sanctioned for. But I hope Rossi appeals. I really do, because this is, it's rubbish. It's utter rubbish. That first we have Jan-Hendrik Wessels that goes off with a 20-minute red card, but it gets banned for 9 games. That has been reduced now to 8 games. But really, they might as well just not bother, because there's literally zero evidence that can support their call and their conclusion, and especially that citation. 9 games for an alleged groin grab. Freaking believable. I don't know how World Rugby is actually managing this. But yeah, set piece dominance of the Springboks was just absolutely amazing. The rolling mauls was where it's absolutely at. Even though being down 14 men for the entirety of the second half, they just went on an absolute dominance spree. The sheer force and brutality of the forwards just shone through, and it was literally as if the Springboks were just like, okay, this is how you guys want to play it, fine. Now we're pulling out all the stops, and there was literally no stopping them. The scrum superiority was just absolutely brutal. And then, of course, Andre Esterhuizen coming in about the 68th minute was just magic. I mean, this man, the sheer power of this I don't want to call him an Uber player, or because he's just an amazing hybrid. Usually sort of typecast as a center player in the back line. He's just absolutely found his home in the front row, and has just proven to us all that he has the sheer power and sheer strength of will to just beat any kind of defense. Bulldozing his way over the try line last week against Japan, and the same here for his spectacular try off a rolling maul. France just had no answer for it. It was just absolutely brilliant. The backline brilliance was just also on point again. Tactical line breaks that was made, especially with the two dummies, but by both Sasha Famba-Komazulu and Grant Williams, was just absolutely masterfully done. There was also a bit of controversy where France just, approached the referee after the play was stopped when Malcolm Marx connected with another of his own players in the ruck that caused a cut above his eye. The announcer called it a cut or sort of blood in his ear. But it was later established that it was actually a cut above the eye that happened. And obviously, nobody's fault. Like I've said so many times, it is absolute chaos within a loose maul, and things happen. Which is why it's like Jan-Henry Wessels yet again could possibly have brushed up unintentionally against Josh Murphy's nether region area. A lot of things happen there. It's just that's how it goes in rugby. And here again, cut above the eye, play is stopped, clock is stopped for some medical treatment there to Malcolm Marx just before taking a line out. And the French started complaining, going to the ref, accusing South Africa of trying to milk the injuries. And I loved Angus Gardner's response. This was just absolutely emphatic, telling this player, wouldn't he like him to do the same for his teammates? Put yourself in, telling him, in certain terms, put yourself in their shoes. I mean, if this was one of your guys that went down with a cut above the eye, blood everywhere, wouldn't you like me to stop play? Show him the same courtesy. So, I mean, what is your complaint here? So, absolutely well done, Agnes Gardner, for taking control there and absolutely calling this game straight down the middle. I was absolutely happy. I had no complaints about his calls. I had a lot of respect for him. I think he was probably overruled by, the assistant referees and the TMO with that call about Lood. But he honestly, I found he tried his very best to try and avoid the red card in this instance. Because I think deep down he knew that this did not meet the red card, threshold. But unfortunately, he was overruled by all the other refereeing staff, I think. That was the right term. And they wanted to call it straight down the rule of law. So, yeah, nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. I hope Rassie appeals and get that overturned. Cobus Reinach also, his solo try was just absolutely brilliant. Wow. Up and over in the 35th minute. Retrieved by himself and then just going to score over the try line. There was just no stopping him. Fantastic, brilliant play by him. Grant Williams, as I said, the little dummy by him, causing a line break, coming around the ruck, spotting the gap in the line, getting a bit of a dummy off, and then just gutting it through. Brilliant, in between the poles try there. Sasha Famba-Komazulu struggling a bit in the first half with one conversion that he missed and 2 penalty goals. So 8 points in total that he missed in this game. But still, so imagine, 32-17, that final score with 8 points on, it could have been 40-17. Really walking over the French. for that one, but luckily for them, he didn't make it. And maybe a bit of performance anxiety over there, but still, with that brilliant try by him, also with a little bit of a dummy, having Mani Lebok on his outside as a bit of a distraction, he could sell the dummy quite convincingly and get it over into the box, gunning for the poles, getting it as close as possible as he could. As the French defenders was also kind of threatening to tackle him over the deadline there. It was just absolutely brilliant play. Wonderful game. I watched it twice. It was just absolutely amazing. Jasper Wiese also, 9 out of 10 performance by him. Fantastic. I mean, this guy was so quick at the breakdown. Also very strong in the scrums. 17 carries all by him. And it also just making an absolute nuisance of himself in the breakdowns for his team. Just absolutely frustrating style of play for the French. Kind of almost, as somebody has likened it to, a bit of an arm wrestle, you know. Peter Steph de Toy, I'd have to say 7 out of 10. Also making himself an absolute nuisance to the French. 28 tackles in total. I think about 9 tackles for this game in total, 28 for the entirety of this international series. Ibn Ebsebet, Malcolm Marx, doing their absolute best within the breakdowns as well. Fantastic duo with the lineouts for them. Also, unfortunately, cutting Siya Kolisi's game short within the second half as a result of the Lood de Jager red card. He was basically replaced by, I think it was Reinach, that came in shortly in the second half. Bit of a letdown, as it was his 100th cap for the Springboks. Huge moment for him. Also, it was the 50th game for Rassie Erasmus as head coach of the Springboks. Also, absolute brilliant, set point for Rassie Erasmus. Absolutely fantastic. It was an evening of legend. I can't put it any other way. Off the bench, Erge Snyman also making a bit of an impact there in the second half. Coming on quite early in the second half as Siya Kolisi was leaving, but it was no, it was in the first half. Sorry, it was Lood de Jager went off for a bit of an HIA in the first half, passed it, came back on. But it was a bit of a controversy there because as he was leaving, Reinach was asked to basically go onto the field in place of Lood. And there was a bit of a mixed up in the call as Erge Snyman went on, and it was like, oh, hang on, Erge, no, sorry, mate, not you. So he's like sort of, running in reverse, kind of like, okay. But it was all in good fun. Coming off the bench in the second half, making huge impacts for himself as well. Absolute rockstar quality play at the breakdowns, in the scrums, really powerful drives to him as well, making quite a few meters. Peter Steph de Toy also, you can see why he was named the player of the year in 2023. It was just, man, it's just a player of impact. The energy from that young man is just wow. Also, backline discipline, Damian McKenzie making 2 tries for his team with fantastic play for the French. One off a up and over cross kick from Thomas Ramos, and both of those tries had Thomas Ramos basically hand on it, making basically a skip pass in the second one, and then for the first one it was the up and over that both saw the hands on basically getting the ball into the hands of Pinot, scoring fantastic tries over him. He was kind of tackled over the touchline, but lucky for him, got the ball down just in time as he was literally carried with massive force and momentum into the barrier, possibly getting a bit injured there, but as a trooper that he is, basically come back, is ready to continue on for his teammates. And then Serge Blanco, also with a fantastic attempt at a try, but unfortunately having the touchdown kind of null and voided due to basically losing the ball forward in contact in the goal line, in the goal box. So yeah, didn't make it, unfortunately. Blairy, sorry for the mispronunciation, going off in the second half, unfortunately, off of a line-out play where he deliberately knocked the ball down. Now, this is another controversy because I do not agree yet again with Angus Gardner's call there. Very well spotted in the penalty, awarding the penalty for that erroneous play, and the yellow card, obviously, deliberate knockdown. But this deliberate knockdown also prevented a try from Jesse Kriel, as this was clearly a walk-in try. You could see the field wide open in front of him. If that ball did connect with Jesse Kriel and he received it, he would have been through. There's nobody there. Thomas Ramos was way too far off to the left-hand side of Jesse Kriel. Would never have made it in for a tackle. He was through on all sides of him. So that literally prevented a try, and therefore does meet the threshold for a penalty try as well, which was not awarded, as Angus Gardner basically called that the distance between Jesse Kriel and the try line was still too far off to realistically score a try without any interference from other possible defenders that could have prevented it. I don't agree with that. He was wide open. Thomas Ramos was way off, too far off to actually, realistically come in for a tackle, and so was all the other defenders. So it literally would have been a walk-in try for Jesse Kriel. Yellow card, yes, do agree with that. Penalty, definitely. No penalty try, don't agree with that. But that's just my opinion. You guys can let me know your opinion in the comments field below. Fabian Galthe actually did kind of gave high praise to the Springboks. Calling them maybe the best team ever in World Rugby. And it was just, wow. I think our boys can literally pat themselves on the back. High praise from the French head coach there, from Fabian Galthe. And it was just, I have a lot of respect for the guy, because he doesn't mince words. I mean, look at his post-match interview comment where he says, around the 60th minute we had 3 clear chances where we should have scored. After that, they won penalties in midfield and attacked with great efficiency. Their second halves are always powerful and effective. He recognized these kind of plays. He recognized their shortcomings, and especially the fact that they conceded so many penalties within the second half. And I just, I have to hand it to him. He calls a spade, and I do respect him for his forthrightness and his, his forwardness in his comments, recognizing the shortcomings. And of course, he will, go off and try and work on it, given the French a bit of hell there, and obviously work on their game going forward from here. So yeah, Rassie Erasmus also, the 50th game that he's coaching, and Rassie coming in for his notably proud of the boys in his post-match interview, lamenting that 14-13 at halftime was tough. We weren't getting points on the board from our contestable kicking game. I'm so proud of everyone stuck in and made it special for Big Siya. I'm part of such an incredible team, playing for my country on a Saturday. That's my dream. And that's what you gotta love about the man. So humble. The fact that he's coaching 50 games for the Springboks, and he doesn't even mention that. 50 games as the head coach for this team, 2 World Cups, where he's led this team to 2 victories, and he doesn't care about it. No, it's all about Siya, his 100th cap for the Springboks. This absolute icon of South African rugby, and it's all about him. It's all about Siya Kolisi, Big Siya. Even I love the after giving his post-match interviews as captain, erg Snyman Elizabeth coming in, lifting him up on their shoulders, walking out, just giving all praise to this man. And I've had some mixed reactions from different people. Obviously, preferring other players, lamenting that Siya is not the best player within the team. And, it makes a team to really make everything work. So every player is a integral part of the team. But who will hold it all together? It's the captain that leads from the front, that is the glue that keeps the cohesion and the team together and working as a unit. And nobody does that better than Siya. That's what I feel. He's probably one of the best captains this team has ever seen. And that's no small feat, because we had captains like Francois Pienaar. We've had captains like John Smith. We had so many wonderful players in the past, in history, throughout the amateur era and the professional era. And Siya, shoulder above them all. I wouldn't say head or shoulders above them all, but really can rub shoulders with every single one of those men, those legends, those absolute icons of South African rugby. He can hold a candle with all of them. So yeah, that is just one of those absolute fantastic games. Now moving on to Scotland versus New Zealand, and this was also one of the one of the absolute iconic matches of the of this international tour. Also Scotland having to prove some things, so it was kind of a special night for them. Unfortunately, not getting to it. It was the 100th anniversary for the Murrayfield Stadium, hosting Scotland game against, in an international match in Edinburgh. And this is the part of 120 years, losing streak that they have suffered at the hands of the All Blacks. The second iconic team of the Southern Hemisphere that they've been going up against at this field, going head to head for about 120 years and not making it. And this time was no exception. Unfortunately, New Zealand still reigning supreme against the Scots in Edinburgh, 25-17. It was just it was a tough match. Scotland was chasing everything, had nothing to lose, everything to gain, to try and bring an end to a 120-year sort of losing streak against the All Blacks right there on that field. And so they came in all guns blazing, and they came in hard, taking the early lead with a 3-point penalty goal, but also fighting back, fighting real hard, having it, I think, 17 all by halftime. And then just in the second half, the All Blacks cut loose, and it was just going off. Roygaard scoring the first try for the All Blacks in the first half. Absolutely brilliant, sailing from a fantastic offload. And then it was a Scottish ruck, I think. And he kind of made a break for it off a fantastic offload by Beauden Barrett that got Roygaard basically sailing up the try line there, getting his first try of the match in. Will Jordan in the 40th minute scored another absolutely brilliant try, despite Leroy Carter being in the sin bin at the time for a cynical offence. I don't know who it was, one of the Scottish players basically trying to make a line break. He went for, trying to get, to the ball carrier, the All Blacks ball carrier. And Leroy Carter basically just put his foot out, tripping the player up. Unlucky for him, the referee was quite awake, saw it, sorry mate, cynical offense, there you go, or for 10 minutes. But then again, obviously Will Jordan getting a fantastic try, even despite being down 14 men. It just seems like the Southern Hemisphere really come alive when they're on the back foot. South African playing the whole of the second half with only 14 men, and then the All Blacks suffering 3 yellow cards in this entire game. So at 3 points they were down to 14 men, and still they managed to get one over on the Scots. Ewan Ashman also fantastic playing from a well-executing rolling maul in the 46th minute. The hooker basically just squeezed over the Scottish, attack line, I think the gain line, basically to score a fantastic try there. And it was just, very strong push. So the Scots can really pat themselves on the back. They made a fantastic, counter-attack, strong counter-attacks, brutal rolling mauls with some fantastic scrummaging as well, strong scrummaging. Also made some fantastic carries. Carl Steyn also with a fantastic try. I think that was off a who was that initiated that? I think it was Simeon Tuipulotu, yes, that made a fantastic line break, beating about 5 defenders. He was then eventually sort of gotten down in the All Blacks 22, got the offload off. That was then fed through to Carl Steyn, that made it over the gain line into the penalty box, the goal scoring box, and get the try, the jot down there for the try. That was run about middle of the second half, and then also Finn Russell scoring a penalty goal in the 60th minute. Also, getting some getting some much needed points on the board for Scotland there. And then also Oris Avea making a fantastic try for the All Blacks. Shortly after that, he went off with the yellow card. And then, Damian McKenzie came in off the bench and just immediately made fantastic impact in the game. Off a 50-22 kick. And I think this is probably going to be my try of the weekend, because that is just, oh wow, it was amazing. It was just absolute genius from this young man. Make it off a 50-22 kick, amazing 50-22 kick off under severe pressure by Scotland. Got the kick off, and off a line out, the ball came left onto McKenzie on the wing, and then somehow avoided being tackled over the touchline. The Scottish defender just basically came in from the side, grabbing McKenzie by the shirt, him basically hitting the brakes as I've never seen before, managing to himself grabbing his opponent and then flinging him over the touchline as he kind of fell backwards, and then managed to get the ball down for the try in the corner, and then slotting the conversion himself from an extremely sort of side kick. Oh no, wait, he didn't actually know. He didn't manage to actually slot the conversion, but shortly after that he managed to get an amazing 50-meter penalty goal in. So he might as well have converted his own try, except it was a conversion with 1 extra point on the clock, basically bringing it through to 25-17. And the discipline just wasn't on the All Black side, but still, being down 14 men in the second half, I think one in the first half. I think Leroy Carter was in the first half, around about the 37th minute, just before halftime, and then Oris Avea went off in the 46th minute, and then also Wallace Atiti with a unfortunate deliberate knockdown. There was just no way he was going to realistically retrieve that ball making it a legal interception. As from a pass, I think it was, I can't remember who it was from, but he came in for a tackle on the Scottish attacker. Scotsman offloads, he diverts the hand and then knocks the ball off course, which then obviously was then deemed a deliberate knockdown. Given a yellow card, he was off for 10 minutes. So again, and then Damian McKenzie shortly after getting that absolute fantastic 50-22, turning that into points on the board with its absolute amazing try. He was just like akin to the play of a rugby god. This guy just making it all worthwhile to, for the love of the game. And this is why I love it. This is why I love rugby, because this is the kind of shit that happens on the rugby pitch. And it just makes it all the worthwhile to watch it. It was just absolute amazing play and amazing, athleticism from these guys. Both from Simeon Tuipulotu, Finn Russell as well, for his own 50-22 kick. Amazing points on the board for the Scotsman as well. Unfortunately, with his little interception, didn't quite mask the fact that there was a knock on just before that. And then the forward pack, Gregor Brown, Jack Dempsey, and Ashwin, Ewan Ashwin as well. Like I said, making some immense plays, and it's just what makes watching these games such a pleasure. For New Zealand, Damian McKenzie, player of the match, well deserved. I mean, that performance was just wow. But also not failing to mention both Cam Roygaard and Will Jordan. Burton Barrett also having his absolute kicking boots on, slotting every single one of his goal kicks. Just wonderful gameplay there. Wallace Atiti, despite the yellow card, makes some absolute impact plays as well. Gregor Townsend didn't shy away from the shortcomings of the Scots team in his post-game interviews, basically saying that hard to find the words. Really disappointed. The effort that went in was all character. The win was there, and we needed to kick on when it was 17-17. Outstanding by us, but we need to win these games. We need to make the next step. I'd love to play New Zealand next week again because of what we have learnt from that performance. And so I don't know if they're not going to be facing the All Blacks next week again, unfortunately for him. It is going to be All Blacks against England while they'll be taking on Argentina. But it is disappointing. They played really hard, but they, like he said, they need to turn these kind of games into wins. Russell, unfortunately, went off with a bit of a knee injury as well. And then Townsend also lamented about that. He said the knee was the initial injury, and I thought he was outstanding, even though he had that knee strain. The reason we took him off is because we had an ankle too. So there were two injuries that he was carrying, and you got to try and save your players as much as you can. If there is an injury that is that is not as severe, that he can still carry on playing, sometimes it is best to just take him off, because you just risk exacerbating the injury. That's happened actually last year, I believe it was, with Sasha Fambakumzulu, and Rassie just wasn't very happy with it. The fact that he didn't declare the injury to the EMTs, kept quiet about it, and then went on to play, and then seriously injuring that knee after that, which basically meant he was out for the count for several games after that, which Rassie wasn't very happy about. One of his star players out for the count. As captains, Simeon Tuipulotu basically lamented in his halftime interview that I told the boys we needed a reaction at halftime. Either we lie down or choose to go for it. We had nothing to lose and everything to gain. It is bittersweet because we put them under pressure in the first half, but we're down 17-0. So, it is sad. They played so hard. They played so strong. but unfortunately the fates just wasn't on their side. The All Blacks showed why they were, you know, perennial contenders, and they were just very strong players. Their 31st win in 33 meetings on Murrayfield keeps them at a remarkable record. You know, so it was just absolute dominance from these boys. Moving forward from there, obviously, yeah, like I already said, South Africa now will be facing off against Italy next week, and then Scotland against Argentina, the All Blacks against England, and then France, I believe, will be hosting Fiji. So, yeah, again, South Africa showing once again why they are the dominating team, the world number one at this point. And I think this kind of puts to bed the whole idea of South Africa robbing France in the 2023 World Cup. You know, they had the opportunity now to show us what they are made of, and they came up short. So can we now put to bed this whole kind of argument and just kind of move forward from there? Scotland, you know, I hope that they go from strength to strength. The All Blacks, of course, will be looking to put another feather in their cap on that one. As of yet, like South Africa, undefeated within this international challenge. So yeah, this is going to be quite exciting to go forward from here and see what our team can basically do, because like every other match that's we've played this entire year, this obviously affects the standings for the pool games within the 2027 World Cup, and as that's creeping ever closer and closer, the more we approach 2026, we're going to start seeing more and more crucial games being played here, where our boys are really going to have to, you know, keep their heads about them, as competition is just going to grow more and more tougher. But anyway, yeah, for that, guys, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Please, you know, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also leave a comment in the comment field below. I always love hearing from you guys and getting your opinions on these matches, on players' performances, what could have been done better. Do you agree with the red card on Lood de Jager? Do you agree with some of the judgment calls by the ref in the All Blacks Scotland game? What did you think of Damian McKenzie coming off the bench, making such an impact in the game? Also, what did you think of Cobus Reinach's performance? That absolutely fantastic up and over try of his. And then just general performances. Give me your thoughts in the comments field below, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys next weekend when I'll again be reviewing those games in the autumn series. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be seeing you guys yet again. Peace out.
Paya get low from the Scottish defence to Paya. Barrett, Graham gets him. Barrett flinging it wide. Flying Anuku just has to catch it. Hutchinson gets him. McKenzie against Kinghorn. McKenzie for the try. He's got it down.
Look at this from Damian McKenzie. Shrugs off Blair Kinghorn. George Turner cannot make it. He's sliding over the Murrayfield surface. But the try is given. What a finish by Damian McKenzie. Wow!
McKenzie drills it.
Trying to tap it though.
Time is up. The match is over. And New Zealand's Caledonian streak continues.